Hey guys, Cat569 here, and today I'm going to be talking about the Combat Technology Research Group, or CTRG as it's most commonly known as. CTRG is a Special Forces unit within groups deployed on Stratus and Altus alongside Task Force Aegis, which is a NATO task force, and also is present in some islands in the Pacific, like Tanoa and a few others that we are not 100% sure on. CTRG is comprised of a couple of groups that are deployed all throughout the world to just gather intelligence on technology and the combat technology to give them an upper hand if something did go wrong. But they're real shady. That's why they need to be explained, since they're not really explained throughout the East Wind, and well, they're more explained in the Apex Protocol campaign in Arma 3, but you know, all throughout the campaigns they don't really mention what CTRG does or how they operate and stuff like that. Like, you never get to play as a CTRG operative. We know of Group 14, which is stationed on Stratus and Altus, and their call sign is Falcon, and is led by Captain Scott Miller, and every member of Falcon or Group 14 is indeed British. And Stratus and Altus, if you don't know, is in the Mediterranean, in the bit near Greece, but you know, I explained a bit of that in the CSAT explained video. You don't need to see that to understand this one, so I'll leave that at that. Group 15 deployed on Tanoa, and call sign is Raider, or Raider 1 and 2, you know. Well, you probably don't know, but that's just their call sign. And it is led by Major A.G. Dutton, and is working alongside Colonel Brodales, I think it was, NATO Pacific Task Force. This team is fully American, leading to the conclusion that CTRG is a multinational unit, which I'm sure it is. They won't just rely on the British to do all that stuff, since in this alternate universe, Britain is basically collapsed and the military isn't an actual military, it's just some spec ops teams around the place. But those are the groups we know quite a bit about, but some other groups are shown in the cutscene in the Apex Protocol campaign that we don't know much about, except their number and where they're stationed. Group 1 is in Turkmenistan, or northern Afghanistan, can't really tell, you know, they're pretty close to the border. Group 3 in Lebanon or Syria, once again pretty close to the border, they could be operating in both countries, who knows. Group 6 is in central Iran, Group 8 in southern Russia, Group 10 in the central Philippines, and Group 12 in the western Indonesian region. The leaders of these groups are pretty much unknown, and who really knows what nationality they are. They might be British, American, Australian, but you know, well, at least we know that all these groups do exist, since it was specified in the Apex Protocol cutscene, but it doesn't tell us much about it. Let's dig a bit deeper. Now, these are the CTRG members that we know 100% exist. The CTRG commander is A.G. Dutton. We're not too sure if it's, well, the Major A.G. Dutton, but we're not 100% sure if he is the commander of all CTRG or just the Pacific region. But if he is the leader and commander, the 2 IC of CTRG Command is Captain Scott Miller of Group 14, which is in the Mediterranean, Now his group, it's 2IC, is Lieutenant James. He is still around. He made it all throughout all the campaigns. And then Sergeant Northgate, as an AT personnel person, is pretty good at hand. Sergeant Hardy, which was deceased in the East Wing campaign, spoiler alert, even though you probably didn't even know who he is. Sergeant O'Connor, Corporal / Sergeant we don't know, McKay, unknown rank Radcliffe, unknown rank Smith, unknown rank Robertson, unknown rank Roberts, and we're pretty sure Sergeant Donald Snow, also known as Sparrowhawk. And that was just CTRG Command and Group 14. Now, Group 14 is all British, but now it's going to Group 15, which comprises of just a couple of members. Now we have got a couple of Sergeant Riker and think Sergeant Stalvro, Corporal Chuck, I'm pretty sure that wasn't, Corporal Grimm, all of American background and in the Pacific Theatre, and they're probably hired by NATO as well, but then turned to CTRG because all these guys are Special Forces operatives, so they're likely to get the job done better than a regular, so that's why they're handpicked from the militaries that they were born into. Be aware, spoils may lay ahead. Now, Group 14's task in the Mediterranean was to find the CSAT earthquake maker. They made some dodgy deals. They might have been directly responsible for the betrayal on Stratus between NATO and the Altus Armed Forces, which went pretty south. NATO held their ground for some time, but it was linked to Captain Scott Miller because they were trying to get the East Wind device, as the earthquake device is actually called. So, they needed to get back to Altus without drawing much attention. They were also seen in the East Wind preparing for the betrayal. I think that's them down there. This is Camp Maxwell. If you haven't played the East Wind campaign or a Arma 3 campaign, and you would have no idea where this is, but I'm pretty sure that's them there. They're very secretive, and I'm pretty sure other teams have different objectives. Like Group 15 was also on the lookout for the East Wind device, but not directly. They were just sent there because there was suspicion of a CSAT presence there, which, spoiler alert, there was a CSAT Special Forces presence. That's why it's called the Apex Protocol, because CSAT was in that protocol stage of disabling the country, even though it was already very wonky, that country. I don't know why they would need to destroy it even more, but who really knows. Captain Scott Miller and Lieutenant James didn't really care who they killed in the process to get this East Wind device, because that was their main objective, and they've been trying to get this for ages. Like, even during the Altus and Stratus Civil War, which I reckon was made from CSAT, but if it wasn't CSAT that made that happen, it was definitely by their own accord. But they just did everything in their power to get it. Corruptness, they ended up killing their closest allies in Altus and Stratus, and even the 111th Battalion, which is a fictional NATO battalion, even classed Captain Scott Miller and his team as non-friendlies. Because even when NATO did invade Altus and Stratus, they did not come forth. They stayed in the dark. And many more CTRG members do that, except Group 15. They worked alongside NATO instead of basically being in the dark the whole time of the betrayal. And that's basically all that we know about CTRG. They are not to be trusted, they're pretty corrupt, but it's all in the name of good, unlike CSAT, where they just wanted to capture all the islands and all the countries that were destabilizing. Which, but we still don't know much about CTRG. And this is only accurate to 2018 at the start of the year. Since who knows, more DLCs might come out that explain a different CTRG group, which I'll be definitely hoping for in the future. Because CTRG just looks so cool. Their camouflage, it's very unique. Especially the Pacific theaters. There's the urban camouflage, and they've also got some spec opses within the CTRG groups that we know about. That if there's a CTRG group that's calling for backup and can't trust any other nation, special forces groups within CTRG, known as ghost teams, will come in, break them out of the belt if they're in, but they will not help them provide their mission on like a final assault. They'll only come in if they've got no one else to go to, since the uniforms cannot be seen also through heat vision. They do get around quite easily, but we've known about just one ghost team, which wasn't really in any of the campaigns, but we do know they exist. Scott Miller, Captain Scott Miller and Lieutenant James never have called one in, but we know that they have come into either the Mediterranean or the Pacific and killed Viper team. We'll leave it at that, because anymore is 50-50, but that is 75% a real thing. So it's pretty much a real thing, but who really knows? And there you have it. CTRG is very dodgy, but for the good of mankind. Cat569 out.